What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, where we talk all things Michigan, football, and basketball. MWB and the place to be, go blue. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it so much. I'm excited to hang out with you and talk some Michigan sports. We got a packed show today. We're going to continue my position-by-position breakdown. We're going to talk about the running back room and take a look at what's changed and if things are better or worse. I've also got a ton of recruiting news, including Michigan adding to the linebacker room for Team 147 next year through their 2026 recruiting class. We'll take a look and see what else is going on in Michigan athletics, and we'll review the results from yesterday's Question of the Day. All this and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's get into it. So over the weekend, I started a couple of new video series that we're going to be doing since we're in kind of the doldrums of the season. Transfer portal's done, recruiting is going on, and that's always a part of my videos, but there's not major stories breaking every day. Of course, if one does, that'll be the focus of the video, but we're going to rotate back between taking a deep dive into the coaching staff one by one and position groups one by one. Over the weekend, I did the quarterback room and I did a deep dive on Kyle Whittingham. So go ahead and check out those videos if you haven't yet. But today we're going to be talking about the running back room. And Michigan's running back room kind of went on an overhaul. Quite different from last year. And last year it was a strength, and it really could have been an even bigger strength if we hadn't dealt with some injuries. We had Justice Haynes from Alabama, who started off the season hot. He was getting into the Heisman talk. Explosive, a fun player to watch, and then he got hurt. But then Jordan Marshall picked right up, and instead of being the Robin, he became the Batman, and he was tearing it up, and then he got hurt. And luckily we had Bryson Kuzdal, who really just looked fantastic and kept the season together down the stretch as a running back filling in. And we had some young guys behind that, but those were the main guys that saw playing time last year. So this year, what's it going to look like? Well, Justice Haynes, he went on his way. Michigan kind of got priced out. You never know for sure, but it seems like that was kind of the thing. And he went to Georgia Tech, which is also where an area where he's from more. So I think that was a draw for him as well. It's going to be fun to see him there. Georgia Tech made some interesting moves. Side note, they'll be a team that I'm interested to watch next year. But he is gone. But we do have Jordan Marshall coming back. He's healthy, and I'm really excited about the new strength and conditioning and performance team and staff. I'm hoping that they can help these players, and hopefully through the way we practice. I don't know, but it just seemed like a lot of our big stars would get injured. I'm hoping that Jordan Marshall can have a full, healthy season because he is an amazing runner. He has incredible vision. He can run you over, he can run away from you, and he can run around you. He's got a great cut move. He's got great vision. He can find the hole and just hit it and go. And he's a powerful runner that's hard to bring down. Love watching Jordan Marshall run, and it's going to be great to see him get a full season. That is the hope. But we've got other pieces behind him, and that's what we're going to talk about also today. But first, let's start off with the lead back, the Batman of the running back room, and that is Jordan Marshall. Let's take a look at his stats so far in his Michigan career. So last year as a sophomore, Jordan Marshall played in 11 games, and he had 150 carries for 932 yards, 6.2 yards per carry, and 10 touchdowns. He averaged 85 yards a game. He also caught 9 balls for 92 yards, giving him over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. He didn't play as much his freshman year, of course, but he did have that great showing in the bowl game against Alabama. So overall in his career so far, he's played 16 games. He's carried the ball 181 times for 1,052 yards, 5.8 average, 10 touchdowns, 65 yards a game, and those same 9 receptions. I think he's going to get a ton of carries this year. I'm excited to see him play. As I said, he's a powerful runner, shifty runner. He can run away from you, run through you, and he's got a great cut and vision that he can get around you as well. And I'm just excited to see him hopefully stay healthy. I think we have a great strength and conditioning staff. They're going to help him get stronger. They're going to help him get healthier and smarter and hopefully be able to make it through a full season to show what he can do. But he's not going to be alone because we have a new Robin in the house to his Batman, and that is 5-star #1 running back recruit Savion Hyder. Let's talk about what Savion Hyder did in high school. Savion Hyder is 6 foot, 210 pounds. As a sophomore, he had 150 carries, 1,187 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He also had 2 kickoff return touchdowns. He also played defensive back and had 56 tackles, 7 sacks, and 1 interception. As a junior, he rushed 156 times for 1,698 yards with 26 touchdowns. He had 200 receiving yards and scored 3 touchdowns on kickoff returns. And as a senior, he ran 100 times for 1,445 yards and 25 touchdowns. What an athlete. He actually looked really good as a defensive back, amazing as a kick returner. He may get some chance to return kicks, who knows, but I think his main job is going to be the Robin to Jordan Marshall's Batman, and he's going to be an amazing change of pace, lightning quick, shifty, dynamic, a playmaker, somebody that you can move around and that you can put in to spell Jordan Marshall, but also to catch the defense off guard when they're used to getting hit in the mouth by Jordan Marshall. Now you put Savion Hyder in there, and he's just going to light you up. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do, what Jason Beck is going to be able to do creatively in his offense with him, and it's going to be fun to watch these two, this tandem of running backs. It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait. But those are our top 2 choices, but we got other guys in there as well. First of all, we've got returning Bryson Kuzdal. Let's talk about his stats from last year. Bryson Kuzdal is 5'11", 210, from my neck of the woods when I lived in Michigan, Grand Rapids. He started 2 games last year due to the injuries to Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes. He carried the ball 76 times for 326 yards, 4 touchdowns, caught 4 passes for 10 yards, and earned his 2nd varsity letter. He was Offensive Player of the Week for his performance at Northwestern and at Maryland. He also played a lot on special teams. In high school, in his junior year, he had 1,175 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. In his senior year, 1,378 yards rushing and 26 total touchdowns between running back and returning kicks and punts. Bryson Kuzdal is a team player, and he actually looked really good down the stretch. He was a little smaller, so hopefully he'll bulk up, get a little stronger. But he had some pretty good vision, and you definitely noticed the drop-off when he would lead and Mike Capano would come in. Bryson Kuzdal has good vision, good speed. I do want to see him hopefully get stronger, and hopefully a year of conditioning and a year of playing, he will get that. But he's got some breakaway speed. He's got good vision. He makes good cuts. And he's just an all-around hard-nosed, tough player who's willing to do what it takes. Plays great on special teams. He's awesome to have as our number 3 running back and have back in that room with his experience and knowing that we can rely on him when we need to. So I love having him back there. But let's take a look at all the other guys that are behind him. We have Micah Capagna, 5'11", 190 pounds. He hasn't played a ton for Michigan, but he's gotten in some blowouts. Probably overall, he had 10 carries for 38 yards and caught a pass for 8 yards. He played a little bit on special teams and here and there in the backfield in his freshman season as well. School, as a junior, he ran for 1,001 yards on 70 carries with 15 touchdowns and caught 11 balls for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. As a senior, he rushed for 732 yards with 9 touchdowns. Capagna is a solid backup rotational piece, good on special teams. He's got some pop here and there if you need to throw him in there. But I don't see him playing a ton, because if he is, that's because we've had some terrible injuries. But he is very reliable. He's valuable on special teams, and he's valuable in that room because he's been in college for 2 years. He's got experience, and he does have talent, but he's just not as talented as the guys ahead of him. But let's look at some guys that I think do have a lot of talent that maybe could get a little bit more playing time this year behind all those talented running backs. First, someone I was excited about last year, that is Donovan Johnson, before he dealt with some injuries. 6 foot, 215 pounds. He was somebody that was making waves in spring ball and practice. And he was someone that really showed what he could do as a freshman at his high school. He rushed for 1,336 yards on 81 carries and 10 touchdowns. Then he went to IMG. His junior year, he ran for 206 yards on 26 carries with 4 touchdowns, only playing in 7 games. And then as a senior in 7 games, he ran 48 times for 257 yards with 3 touchdowns. He is a player that's got some swag. He's got some strength, some speed. I really like what he brings to the table, and I'm hoping that he'll get, not like maybe Phil. Hopefully he'll be someone that gets a good look in games that hopefully Michigan has a lot of blowouts. Hopefully we're playing really solid, and he can be someone that can get 5 to 10 carries here and there in a blowout game, and we can see what he can do going forward for the future to see if he can be part of the committee down the line. But he was someone that I was really excited about. I really like what he brings, his skill set, and I like his attitude. So he's a fun one to have back there to see what he might be able to do. And finally, and our other freshman who's coming in, very talented, Jonathan Brown, 6'2", 200 pounds, from Ohio. He played running back and safety, and he finished top 10 at his high school in high school history in touchdowns at 8th and rushing yards at 7th. He had over 2,000 career yards on the ground. As a junior, he rushed for 1,295 yards and 16 touchdowns and caught 12 passes for 69 yards. He had a single game career high 182 yards rushing, including 500-yard games. He scored multiple touchdowns in 5 games and 3 touchdowns in 3 games. As a sophomore, he had 75 carries for 463 yards and 5 touchdowns, with 36 receiving yards and 167 kick return yards as a sophomore. He's somebody that had a lot of potential, and I'm really excited about him as well. Just these young running backs who have loads of talent that I'm hoping get a chance to get a little game time if Michigan's playing really well. But if anything, it'll be fun to see them in the spring game and hopefully hear about how they're adjusting and how they're doing. So the running back room is looking pretty good. You've got your top 2 are established. You've got Jordan Marshall, who should just be a workhorse, the bell cow, will help us win a lot of games, will help us to have that Python game plan where he just hits you in the mouth, wears you down, and then he starts breaking runs at the end, runs the clock in tough, close games. But he's also got that breakaway speed and athleticism to just light lesser talented teams up. And then we've got Savion Hyder, who has all these accolades and all this praise for a reason. He is a baller, and he is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see him in the maize and blue running in that backfield. So get excited about him. He's going to be a huge part of this offense. And then we've got good old reliable Bryson Kuzdal. He'll be there if we need him. And then we have a stable of talented backs with a lot of promise behind that I mentioned. So the running back room, I'm feeling really good about it. And someone I didn't mention, but I think will get some running back carries, was our transfer portal get from Oklahoma, Taylor Tatum. He converted to safety, but Michigan does like to use players 2 ways. And Kyle Whittingham in the past at Utah used players 2 ways. Sione Vaki, who's with the Lions, he played safety for Utah and was great, but he also returned kicks and played running back and was really good at running back. So I could see Tatum getting in there and getting a few carries and playing safety / linebacker. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. Of course, his sophomore year, he was injured, had some fumble problems, did not play very much. But his freshman year at Oklahoma, he was very solid, showed a lot of potential. He flashed, and people were really excited about him. And he was the #1 running back recruit the year that Jordan Marshall came to Michigan. He was number 5. Taylor Tatum was number 1 because he was absolutely insane in high school. All 4 years he played, he was nuts. So pretty cool, pretty exciting. And I think he will get some time there. But I didn't deep dive into him as much because he is technically a safety / linebacker. I keep saying that. He's with the safeties, but I do see him being that hybrid role that Jay Hill's had in the past with his BYU teams. But we'll see. We'll talk about that more when we get to linebackers and safeties. But for now, I'm excited about the running back room. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this group. Next up in recruiting news, we have to start off with the breaking big news of the day. I dropped a short earlier and a post. You may have seen them. But we got a stud to add to the linebacker room as part of our 2026 class for Team 147 next year, and that is Indy Etta. Yes, that sounds familiar because he is the younger brother of defensive tackle Enow Etta. And Indy is, I've seen 6'1", 215. I've seen 6'2" or 6'3", 225. So I'm not sure what size he is. That'll get cleared up once he's onto Michigan's roster officially on the website. And then he'll go through the strength and conditioning program, winter lifting, spring practice, summer, all that. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. He looks like a sculpted dude that takes care of himself and takes his weightlifting and all that serious. So I think he'll add on some LBs no matter what his starting weight is right now. But anyway, he played edge and outside linebacker. That's what they're kind of looking in for now. And in his senior year at his high school, he had 68 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, and 10.5 sacks. It earned him first team all district and first team all state. So he played really well. And I think we've got a lot of these brother tandems and family cousin tandems. So that helps us get him, but we're not just getting him for Etta's sake or anything like that. He actually is a really good player, and I'm excited to have him in that room as they continue to stack young linebackers to help develop them and help them grow into future starters. But who knows? He showed he's got talent. Who knows? He could be a great special team piece, a great rotational piece, or he could flash and do more. Time will tell, but it doesn't hurt to add more talent to that linebacker room. I'm pretty excited. And this is a recruit that I'm keeping close eye on because I think he just sounds awesome, and I want to see what their plans for him are. We've talked a lot about how Kyle Whittingham loves to switch players' positions, use them on both sides of the ball. So when I heard about this player, and I heard about his meeting with Michigan staff, I got pumped. So I'm talking about Jeremiah Williams from Tustin High in California. He's a 4-star defensive lineman. He's 320 pounds, just a beast. He's very quick off the ball. He hits hard. He plays aggressive. Love watching his highlights and his play on the defensive line. He met with Lewis Powell and Lou Esposito, and he had a great talk with them. He said he's very excited about how that talk went. He really sees himself going to Michigan. He loves it. He can't wait to visit and learn more about the culture and the team. But then he said something interesting that got me really pumped that I did not expect to read about. First, let me tell you his stats for on defense. But he had 67 tackles, 24 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and he deflected 7 passes, sticking up that big mitt. So awesome stuff. But here's what I love to hear. He talked about how he's very explosive and he thinks that Michigan can make him a better athlete. But here's what I love, all right? Their defensive scheme matches his skill set, and he thinks he could be great there. But he also wants to explore the other side of the ball. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, maybe offensive lineman. No. He carried the ball 24 times for 170 yards and 7 touchdowns. 300-pounder carrying the ball and scoring 7 touchdowns. And it's not like 24 carries. If he was just a goal line, like, I'll throw this big guy in there to get goal line touchdowns, he would have had like 30 yards rushing. 170 yards rushing. That's like 8 yards per carry. This dude's running some long runs. So he's quick for a 300-pounder. But he says, I do play a little bit of fullback, and the coaches tell me they'd love for me to play some fullback. Can you imagine how sweet that would be if he comes in as a freshman, not this next year, but the year after, and he is, works his way into the defensive tackle rotation, but he also is a fullback, and here and there you hand the ball off to this fast 300-pound, just aggressive monster who can run for 8 yards per carry. Like, he's obviously not that slow or he'd be getting caught. Like, I haven't watched any highlights of his running, so now I got to look it up. But, man, just the thought of that gets me hyped. I know it probably does you too. So keep an eye on Jeremiah Williams. Hopefully he's going to be coming to the Maize and Blue, because that gets me excited. Another tight end that had Michigan high on his list before the coaching change was Jack Brown, the number 6 tight end in the country. He was another one that kind of fell off. Michigan fell off his list, and people kind of thought he's probably not going to go with Michigan. But Freddie Whittingham reached out, made an offer, and started a dialogue with him to start to build a relationship. And that is something that he's looking for, is relationship. On3 and the Wolverine had talked to Jack Brown's dad, and he had said that that's huge for his son, is building a relationship. You know, someone could throw all the money in the world at him, but what he wants is a relationship with that position coach, and someone that's going to help him grow and that can just be in his corner, that he can learn from, not only as a player, but as a person, and grow into a better person and man and player. So Kyle Whittingham, his staff, and his brother Freddie Whittingham are really good at that kind of stuff, relationship building. So I would not write off Michigan just yet for Jack Brown. Keep an eye on that one as well. Let's take a look and see what's going on around Michigan athletics. The women's basketball team had an epic showdown with Michigan State today in East Lansing at the Breslin Center. Both teams entered at Michigan entered at 18-3, Michigan State at 19-2, Michigan 9-1 in the Big Ten, and Michigan State 8-2. It was a huge game. It was back and forth, but Michigan pulled it out in overtime, 94-91. They now move to 10-1 in the Big Ten. Michigan State falls to 8-3. Mile Holloway had 26 points on 11 for 16 shooting, with 6 rebounds and 5 assists to lead the way. Olivia Olson had 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, and 3 steals. And Silas Swords had 15 points. forced 18 Spartan turnovers, converting them into 21 points. Michigan as a team shot 57% from the field and out-rebounded the Spartans 36-32. Michigan returns home to host Nebraska on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Go Blue. All right, now it's time to talk about the question of the day results from yesterday. I ask a question of the day every day for you Michigan fans. So if you didn't answer the one from today yet, after this video is done, head over to my community tab and answer the question of the day. Yesterday over the weekend I had done my video about the QB room, so it had me thinking about Bryce Underwood and what he might look like next year. So I asked, how many touchdown passes will Bryce Underwood throw next year? Results are in. And here they are. The winning answer was 21-25, and I would agree with that. Would I love to see him get more than 25? Heck yeah. And maybe between passes and from passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns, he may get over that 25. But passing wise, I think he will be right in that spot. But any improvement will be great. If he's between 15 and 20, and the interceptions are down, that's an awesome season for me, especially if he's running as well. I'm just excited to see what happens, but I think he will fall in that range. He'll get into the 20s, maybe not over 25, but he'll be right there, and it's going to be an awesome year. Can't not wait. Thank you to everybody that voted. Remember to vote for today's question of the day if you haven't already. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me again. It means the world to me. I appreciate you all so much for your support and for taking the time to watch these videos. Please leave a comment. I love to talk to you in the comments. I respond to everyone, so I'll see you down there. And if this is your first time here and you had fun, consider subscribing so you know when I put content out, and giving it a like, subscribing. It helps the channel grow, helps the community grow. So that's all I got. I'll see you in the next video. And until I do, enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, go Blue.